everyone, I'm Kelly from Crafting a Cuppa, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Good Vibes vest. This is one that I freestyled for myself, so it's not like my usual tutorials where I provide every single measurement. This is one that you're going to need your own measurements for. You can make it for someone else, but you are going to need to have them close by so they can put it on at different points in the pattern to make sure that your fit is heading in the right direction. So, this is one that I made. Now this one's got buttons on it. Originally it was a tie. I'm going to be doing a tie version today, but I will quickly go over how I did the buttons. Just my daughter wanted them added on because she likes buttons. So yeah, there's that one. So what you're going to need is your chest measurement, or who you're making it for, their chest measurement. So excuse my noisy tape measure. It's crazy. Working in centimetres. You're going to measure around the widest part of your chest. So, where are we? Okay, so mine says 84 centimetres. So what we're going to do is take that number, write down 84, then you're going to divide it by 2. So that is 42. Yeah, I hope I'm right because my maths is terrible and I feel like I'm on the spot right now. And then you're going to minus 3 centimetres from that number. So that would be, for me, 84 divided by 2 is 42. And then minus 3 centimetres from 42, and that is going to be 39 for me. So whoever you're making it for, make sure you take their chest measurement, and then do exactly what I've just done there. Just chest measurement divided by 2 and then minus 3. And that is the first measurement that you're going to be working towards. So shall we get on with it? Yeah. For this tutorial, I've teamed up with Good Vibes Yarn, and they have very kindly gifted this yarn for the tutorial. It is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to see it get worked up. CCBB cake, and I think on their product page it's called Sunny Rainbow, but I am going to link their website. Honestly, go have a look, especially if you love yarn cakes and just beautiful yarns. I always find on there beautiful yarns that I can't seem to find anywhere else. Loads of different colours, lovely selections, and there's just absolutely, I don't even know how many. There are loads of yarn cakes if you love this sort of thing. So definitely go check out Good Vibes Yarn. I'm going to link the website, and I'm also going to link the product page for this exact yarn in the written description of this video. So you're going to need yarn. I have gone with yarn cakes because this tutorial is perfect for them. Hardly any ends, and especially if they've got long colour changes, it just fits it really, really nicely. You're going to need tape measure to measure your garment. You're going to need a couple of stitch markers when we get near the armholes. Hook to match your yarn. I've gone with a 5mm. Scissors, and also a little tapestry needle for weaving in the odd end that you might have. I didn't get that out because I always forget that one. But right, should we get on with the tutorial? Okay, so we're going to be working in the granny stitch, and we're going to be making a pentagon shape. So it's going to have 5 sides and 5 corners. It's going to be just like working up a granny square, but it's going to be a granny pentagon. So take your yarn. Now you can either do a magic circle or you can do a chain and join it to make a circle. I'm going to do the chain because I just don't ever get on very well with a magic circle, but if you want to use that, that's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to create a slip knot. Nearly dropped it. And attach it to my hook. I'm going to chain 5. And I'm going to come back to my very first chain and put my hook through there and make a slip stitch to create a circle. So I'm going to go back into this circle, and I'm going to work around this tail end as well. So when I've done my first round, I can pull on this tail end and I can close up the center circle. So I'm going to chain 3. That's going to class as your first double crochet. And then we're going to put 2 double crochets back into the circle. And that's your first granny cluster. I nearly said granny square cluster. Granny cluster. So next we're going to chain 2 and then put 3 double crochets back into the circle. And we now have 2 sets. Now we need to have 5 of these sets of 3 double crochets. So I've got 2, so I need 3 more. So we're going to chain, nearly got my words wrong then, chain 2 and then put 3 more doubles back into the circle. And just keep repeating the same process until you have 5 sets of 3 double crochets. So that's chain 2, 3 doubles into the circle. I've now got 4, so I've got to do it one more time. Chain 2, put 3 doubles back into the circle. Making sure I'm working around my center tail so I can pull it tight at the end. Now I'm just going to count and double check that I have got 5 sets of 3 double crochets. So remember your first one's got my chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. So to close it off, we're going to chain 2 and then join it to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to pull this center tail nice and tight, just to bring that circle in a bit more. And that's round 1. Okay, so we're going to be turning our work after every round to help keep our seam straight and in the corner, and it keeps it hidden as well. So that's why I like to turn my work. So if you're using a different colour, you can just turn your work and go in any corner that you've just made, any corner chain space. But because I'm using a yarn cake and I'm sticking with the same colour, what I'm going to do is turn my work and then put a slip stitch straight back into this chain space. And now I'm ready to start. So we're going to chain 3 and put 2 double crochets back into the same corner chain space. Next, we're going to skip over the next 3 double crochets and come straight into the next corner chain space and put 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then put 3 doubles back into the same corner, because we're creating another corner. And then we're just going to keep repeating that all the way around. So you're going to skip 3 double crochets and come straight to the next corner and put 3 double crochets in there. Chain 2, 3 double crochets back into the same corner chain space. And then go again. Skip the next 3 double crochets and go straight into your next corner with 3 double crochets. Chain 2, put 3 double crochets back in that same corner. And then we're coming up to, another corner. So we're going to skip over the next 3 double crochets and put 3 double crochets in there. chain 2, and then put 3 double crochets back in the same corner chain space. Now we come to the last corner, which has already got a chain 3 and 2 doubles in it. So all we need to do in this very last corner is skip over these 3 doubles, come to your last corner and put 3 double crochets in it, followed by a chain 2. And then we're going to join the round together by going through the top of the chain 3 and just putting a slip stitch through there. And that's round 2. So just make sure that you've definitely got 5 corners and 5 sides. Okay, round 3. Again, I'm sticking with the same colour because I'm using a yarn cake. So we're going to turn my work. I'm going to come straight back to this corner chain space and put a slip stitch in it. And now we're ready to go again. So we're going to chain 3, which classes as your first double, and put 2 doubles back into the same corner chain space. Then we're going to skip over the next 3, and that brings us to this gap on the side. That's not a corner, it's on the side edge, so it's just a gap. So we're just going to put 3 doubles straight into that gap in the centre. Now we're coming up to a corner, so we're going to skip the next 3 double crochets, and in your corner you're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets back into the same corner, and then go again. So you're going to skip 3 doubles and come into the centre gap and put just 3 double crochets. Just like making a granny square, but with 5 sides, so you're making a granny pentagon. Now we're up to a corner again, so skip your 3 doubles, come straight to your corner and put 3 double crochets in that corner. And then chain 2. And put 3 more doubles back into the corner. Oh, hang on, I've got a little bit. Need to redo that one. I've got a little bit twisted on my last double crochet. Oh yeah, and then we're going to go again. So skip 3 doubles and put 3 doubles in this centre gap. Skip 3 doubles and come to your next corner where you're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets back in the same corner, and then go again. Skip 3 doubles in the centre gap, skip 3 doubles, and then you cut your corner, so there's 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 more double crochets back in that same corner, skip your next 3 doubles and then put 3 doubles in the centre gap. Ooh. And then that leaves you with your final corner that's already got your 3 double crochets in it. So you just got to put 3 doubles in that corner, chain 2, and then join it to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. And then that is round 3, hopefully looking like a pentagon. Okay, round 4, exactly the same as what we've just done, but we're going to have 2 gaps on the edge, on the side now. So turn your work, slip stitch into the corner chain space, and then we're ready to go again. Chain 3 and put 2 doubles in that corner chain space. Then come to your next 3 doubles, skip those and go in the next gap with 3 double crochets. Oh, I've got a new colour. Oh, I've got a new colour. Skip the next 3 doubles and go into your next gap with 3 double crochets. And then that brings you to your next corner. So skip 3 doubles, come in your next corner with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets back into that corner chain space, and then just keep repeating this again. Skip your 3 doubles, 3 doubles in the next gap, skip 3 doubles, 3 doubles in your next gap, skip 3 doubles, we're now at the corner, so then you put your 3 double crochets in that corner, chain 2, 3 double crochets back into the corner, so just keep repeating that all the way around. Skip your 3 doubles, 3 doubles in the next gap, skip double, 3 doubles, 3 doubles in the next gap, and make sure in every corner you're putting 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And when you get, well actually, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll meet you back here when we get near the end of the round and I'll finish it off with you. So keep repeating that until you get to the end of the round. Okay, so I'm now at my final corner again, which has already got the 3 double crochets in it. So you're going to put 3 double crochets in the final corner, followed by a chain 2. And then join it to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. So that is literally what we're going to keep doing. We're going to turn our work, slip stitch back into the corner chain space, and literally just put 3 doubles in every single gap along the edge, and then 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in every single corner. So my pentagon is quite small at the minute, but I'm going to show you how we're going to measure it so you know when to stop crocheting for a little while. So you're going to need that measurement of your chest divided by 2 and then minus 3. So mine was 39 centimetres. When we're measuring, we're going to measure so that your pentagon is like this. So you haven't got a point at the top. You've got to make sure that you've got a straight edge at the top. And just imagine like that's where your head, just say that's your head. That's where your head's going to be, and your neck and your back. If it's like that, it's going to be not right. It's going to be a bit weird. So you've got to turn it around and make sure you've got that flat edge. And we are basically going to measure from here to here, straight across. Not here to here, but this one to this one, this corner to this corner. And then that leaves a point which is going to come down your back. Okay, so I've got to take my head because I need to just show you where I'm measuring again in centimetres. So mine was 39 centimetres. I'm going from this bottom corner all the way across to this bottom corner, and I'm currently at 14 centimetres. So I've got a bit of crocheting to do. So we're just going to keep adding rounds until you reach the measurement that you have just worked out. Remember, chest measurement divided by 2 minus 3. So I'll meet you back here when you have that measurement going across your bottom corners. Straight across. Okay, so I've been adding rounds to my pentagon, and I think I'm about there. I was aiming for 39 centimetres. So remember that when you come to measure it, you need to have the flat bit at the top, because that's where your head is going to go. Don't have it like this and measure. Well, mind you, I suppose it is still kind of the same measurement, but we need to get an idea of how we're working this out, and I like to keep it so the side is at the top. The edge, side edge is at the top. And I'm going to measure here all the way across to here. Now my measurement, my chest measurement, divided by 2 and then minus 3 was 39 centimetres. So as long as I'm close to that, then that's good. So I am at bang on 39 centimetres. Oh hey! So that's good. I'm happy and I'm ready now to move on to the next section. Oh, I can't get my tape measure back in. So next section is going to be armholes. Okay, so right at the beginning of the pattern, I said that I wasn't providing any measurements. That was a slight porcupine. I actually forgot that I will provide the armhole measurement. So yes, I will also write down like a rough chest width area of each size, so that you can then look at the size and think, yeah, I'm about that with the chest, so I need to find large armhole, for example. That's just an example. So yes, you're going to need to go to the written description and find the armhole measurement for the size that you are closest to. So I'm about a size small. What was my chest? My chest was 84 centimetres, and a small is between 81 to 86 centimetres. So I fall in the small category. So I'm going to look at the written description. I'm going to find size small armhole, and mine is 19 centimetres. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure down these two sides, because this area is going to become the armholes. So I'm going to do this side. You only need to measure one side, because once you've got your measurement here, you can just count on this side. So I need to measure down from the top 19 centimetres. Which brings me to here. I'm kind of like right on the edge of a 3 double crochet section. So I'm going to go in the gap closest to that measurement, which is here. So I'm going to get my stitch marker, and I'm going to place a stitch marker in that gap closest to 19 centimetres. So now I come across to this side, I need to put my stitch marker in the same gap on this side. So I'm just going to count from the bottom, because there's less gaps to count. So starting from a corner, I've got 1, 2, 3, and the stitch marker is in the 4th gap for me. So I'm going to come to the opposite side over here and count the same amount of gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And put my stitch marker in the 4th gap. Okay, so we're now going to make the armholes. What we're going to do is we're going to turn our work, and we're going to make our way across the top edge, doing our regular 3 double crochets in every gap. And then when we get to this edge here, we are going to create a chain. Now this section is what I like to call an eyeballing section. This is kind of why I'm doing this tutorial as a freestyle, because you do need to do a little bit of eyeballing, but that's fine. So basically we're going to make a chain, and we want it to come out here and then come down like level with the stitch marker. So we want a chain to go like that, and when you put your finger on it here, it kind of comes down like this. But the amount that we chain needs to be a multiple of 3. So for example, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33. So you're going to have to do a bit of counting and make sure that the number of chains that you create is a multiple of 3. Okay, so I've just flipped my pentagon back over because I was over here. Flip it over and let's begin. I'm just going to keep it zoomed out for a minute so I can show you what I mean about the chain. So we're going to get our work. We're going to turn our work and we're going to put a slip stitch back into the corner chain space just like we've been doing already. Chain 3 and put 2 doubles back into that same corner chain space. Now we're going to repeat the same pattern that we've been doing, skipping 3 doubles and putting 3 doubles in the next gap. So just do that all the way across this top edge only. So keep placing 3 double crochets in this top edge only, and I'll meet you when you get to the next corner. Don't go around the corner, we're going to stop right at this corner, okay? Okay, so I've just gone along the top edge only, just here, and I'm now at the corner, the very next corner. So I'm going to put 3 double crochets in this corner. And now I need to make my chain. It's basically, I want it to come out like this and I want it to go down. So it is like this, okay? This is basically what we're going to be creating. Is a chain that comes out and goes straight down. But it needs to be a multiple of 3. So I'm going to go quiet now because I have to count, because I'm terrible at counting chains. If I get it wrong, if I doing a chain and I get it wrong or I lose count, I have to start again, because I look at my chains, I'm like, oh, I literally cannot for the life of me count all those chains. So remember, it has to be a multiple of 3. The easiest way to do this is literally do 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, stop. 4, 5, 6, stop. 7, 8, 9. That's how I do it. You're probably like, what are you talking about? But that is how I do it. Rather than just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just do little sections of 3 chains and then have a look to see if it has come out and gone down. But you need to know how many chains you've created, because you're going to have to do the exact same amount on the opposite side. So I'm now going to start my chain, okay? Okay, so I've currently stopped at 27 and I'm just going to have a little look to see what it's like. Oh, and I can see already we're not quite there, look, because I want it to come out and go down. So I'm going to need to add a few more onto that. So let me do a few more. Right, I'm now at 33. I'm going to bring it down to my chain space where the stitch marker is. Just have a little look. 33. Doesn't look too bad actually. Or do we think I should add another 3 more? No, it doesn't look too bad. Trying to decide what to do. Do I add some more? It is going straight down, isn't it? Down 33. Yeah, I think that looks all right to me. 33. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Oh, wrong button. Me and modern technology. Okay, so I've got 33 chains. I've put it down to where the stitch marker is. Do you know what, actually, I'm going to add some more to mine. It feels a little bit tight. I'm going to add 3 more. 34, 35, 36. So I'm going to place that where it will go, in there, and bring it out. Yeah, I'm happy with that, actually. I don't feel as tight. So I have got 36 chains. You've probably got something different because we're all using different yarn. We're making different sizes. We all crochet differently. But I'm happy with this shape that it's created. It's kind of like an upside down L is what you're looking for. Or a teardrop sort of shape. So yes, it doesn't feel tight or pulling. I'm happy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the very same gap where you have your stitch marker, and we're going to place 3 double crochets. So we're not going to do a slip stitch or anything like that. I'm literally going to put my finger on my loop here so it doesn't twist, and I'm going to yarn over, and then I'm going to put my finger on that loop as well to keep them both together. And now I'm going to do my double crochet. So I'm going to go in my chain space, yarn over and bring up a loop while keeping my finger on these other loops to keep them secure. Yarn over and go through the first 2, yarn over and go through the last 2. And there we go. And then I've got another chain, another 2 double crochets to put in here. So there we go, we've got 3 doubles in that same space as the stitch marker. So now we are going to keep doing the same pattern of 3 doubles in every gap and 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in every corner until we get back to the next stitch marker. So 3 doubles in every gap. I'm now at my next corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that corner. Oh, that's just come out of there. I've got to remember how many are chained. It was 36, wasn't it? I'm pretty certain it was 36. So you should write this number down, look. I've been chatting so much, I forgot what I've done. I'm pretty certain it was 36. Yeah, it was. I'm pretty certain it was. So yeah, just keep putting 3 double crochets in every gap until you reach your stitch marker. So I've got to go all along here, doing my regular 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in the corner, all the way here, next corner, and placing 3 doubles in with my stitch marker, and then I've got to do my other chain. But I'm going to come back to you when I get here, so we'll do it together. Okay, so I am literally now up to my next stitch marker on the opposite side. So what we're going to do is put 3 double crochets in the same gap with the stitch marker. And now I need to chain the exact same amount as what I just done on the opposite side, which I'm pretty certain was 36. If it wasn't, you're going to be shouting at the camera, no, or the screen, no, it's not 36. But I feel like it is, so we're just going to go 36. Right, I'm now going to go quiet because I'm going to do my chain. Okay, so I've reached 36, And then once you've got the same amount that you've got this side, you're just going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 from the start of the round. And that's going to join the round together. So just pop a little slip stitch in there. Oof. Like so. So this is what you should have. If you hold it up like that, that's what it should look like. We don't want the chain to be tight against here. You need a little bit of leeway with it, so it's a bit more gappy. So yes, that's the eyeballing section done. Ha ha ha, not that hard really, is it? It's all good fun, yay! Okay, now for this round, we are not going to turn our work. We're going to keep going on the same side. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some double crochets to begin with. We're going to put double crochets all the way across here and double crochets all in the chain, making sure that you have the correct number of double crochets as to what you chained, mine being 36. And then when we get back here, we're going to go back into our 3 doubles in the gaps. So let's start. We're going to do a chain 3, which you'll class as your first double crochet. And now you're going to put a double crochet in every double crochet. Or a double crochet in every stitch, I mean. Don't go in the gap because we're not working in there at the moment. We're just going in every stitch, placing a double crochet. Okay, yep, so keep placing a double crochet all along this edge and I'll meet you when we get back here. Okay, so I've just worked along the top edge and put a double crochet in every single stitch. Now I need to put a double crochet in every single chain, making sure that I end up with 36 in this section, because that is how many I chained. Hopefully, the moment of truth. So yep, go in that very first chain and every chain thereafter with a double crochet. Sometimes, oh, I have to wiggle mine in a bit. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get going when you're working in the chain. Once you get a few in, it's easy. It's just getting them first like couple in, isn't it, sometimes? So yeah, go in every single chain with a double crochet and I'll meet you back here when we're done. Right, so I've just added all of my double crochets into my chains and I got 36, yay! So now we come back to the original pattern that we was doing. So we're going to skip over the next 3 double crochets and we're going to put 3 double crochets in the next gap. And then keep doing this all the way around until you reach the chain on the opposite side. So just keep putting your regular 3 double crochets in all the gaps. I'm now at my corner, so I'm going to put the same as what I have been doing, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, so yes, keep going all the way around, putting 3 doubles in every single gap, all the way around. going in your corners as well with your 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. I'm going to stop in this last gap right before my chains. So I'll meet you back here, okay? Well, I don't know why I keep saying I'll meet you back here, because it's not backwards, is it? I will meet you here in the future. See you soon. Okay, so I have now come all the way around and I've stopped right before the last 3 double crochets, and then it's my chain. I've also got a new colour coming in, which is quite exciting. Love it, it's looking amazing. So what you're going to do is you're going to skip over these 3 double crochets right here, and then you've got to put a double crochet in every single chain. So hopefully for me I should have 36 by the time I'm done. So I'm just going to get on with it, and I'll come back once I've done it. So just skip over your 3 double crochets and go in the very next chain right here. It's a bit tricky to see these chains. Skip over your 3s and go into your chains with double crochets, exactly the same as what you've just done this side. And I'll meet you back here right at the end. Okay, so I've made it to the end of the chains and I've got 36, hooray! So all you're going to do now is join it to the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round with a slip stitch. Says me, now I can't get my hook for it. There we go. There we are. So now you should have something that's looking like this. I can't quite fit it all in. There's my point at the bottom. Now, if you get eager and you think, oh my gosh, I just want to try it on and see what it's going to be like. When you try it on, when it's in this, well, I don't really know what word to use, but when it's like this, it's going to feel really, really weird. You're going to think, oh my God, I don't think that's right. Like, that feels a bit tight, it feels a bit weird. It's going to feel weird because we've not added any of the front yet. So it's going to kind of hang back a bit because it hasn't got any width or depth to the front. So what we're going to do now, it's going to be lovely and easy, is just keep adding rounds all the way around, and that's going to bring this forwards, and you're going to start adding in your front section. And it's going to look amazing. I'm so excited. All these colour changes. Woohoo, look at that, it's looking amazing. Okay, next round. So what we're going to do now is we are going to turn our work, but we're going to do a chain 3 first. So we're going to do chain 3, turn our work, and then you're going to put 2 more double crochets in the base of the chain 3. Now you need to skip the next 2 stitches and then put 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So we want to get back to our regular pattern all the way around of the granny stitch. So do that again, skip the next 2 stitches and then put 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Again, skip the next 2 stitches, 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Skip 2 stitches, 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Now keep doing that all along this. I'm going to call it a strap for the time being, although it's not really, it's an armhole. Maybe let's just call it an armhole. So do that all along the armhole, skip 2 double crochets or 2 stitches and then put 3 double crochets in your next stitch, and keep doing that until you get to the end of the armhole. Okay, so I am near the end and I have got 3 stitches left. So you'd be like, oh, I skipped 2, 1, 2, oh, I've got to put them, my next 3 in this stitch. No, we're going to skip over that one as well, and we're going to go in the gap now. So that stitch is kind of like the gap. So we're going to skip the last 3 stitches and go in the gap. So you're kind of going around that last stitch anyway. So skip the last 3 stitches and go in the gap with 3 double crochets. And now we are back to our regular stitch pattern of the granny stitch. So you're going to skip 3 double crochets and put 3 doubles in the next gap. And then the same. So skip 3 doubles, 3 doubles in the next gap. Skip 3 doubles in the next gap. And then I'm at my corner chain space. So I'm going to do 3 doubles, chain 2, and then 3 doubles back in the same corner chain space. So keep repeating that all the way around, 3 doubles in every gap, doing your corners. My voice is going. Come all the way around until you reach that I'd say, oh look, I've only put 2 in there. Oh, I've spotted a mistake. I've only put 2 in there. Poo pants. Never mind. I ain't undoing it. I'm not undoing it. Never mind. Doesn't matter. So until you get your next gap, well, there, come back to the, oh, I can't talk properly now. So keep it at 3 double crochets until you get to, the gap before your double crochets on the armhole, and I'll meet you here. Don't know what I'm saying, look. Okay, so I'm now back round to my other armhole, and I've put 3 doubles in the gap before my double crochets. So what we need to do now is mirror image what we've just done on the opposite side. So when we got to the end of here, we skipped 3 double crochets because rather than going in that last stitch, we went in the gap straight after it. So we need to mirror image the same thing on this side. So what we're going to do is just this one time only, we're going to skip 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go in the 4th one with 3 double crochets. Because technically speaking, we've used the gap as that stitch, if that makes sense. That's why we're skipping 3. But from here on out, we are now just going to go back to the regular skipping 2. So you skip 3 the first time, and then this one, we're just going to skip 2. So skip 2 double crochets and put 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Again, skip 2 double crochets and put 3 double crochets in the next stitch. Skip 2 skip 2 stitches and put 3 doubles in the next stitch. And keep repeating this all the way up the armhole, and I'll meet you back around this section. Okay, so I've come all the way up my armhole, and we are going to continue skipping 2 double crochets and putting 3 double crochets in the next stitch all along the top edge. I'm a bit zoomed in at the moment. Let me just come out a bit, because we've also got double crochets here. So keep skipping 2 stitches and then putting 3 double crochets in the next stitch, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, so I'm right near the end of the round and I've got 4 stitches left. I've had 4 stitches every time I've made it. So if you've got 4 stitches, don't panic, it's absolutely fine. We're just going to skip 2 stitches again and put 3 double crochets in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to join it to the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. And that is literally like the hard part, done and dusted. And then here on out, you're going to have loads of fun just doing some mindless crocheting. Because from here on out, we've gone back to our original stitch pattern of the granny stitch. Hee-hee. So this is what it should be looking like. Don't worry that this bit isn't totally smooth just yet. Once you start adding more rounds, this part is going to even out, because from here on out we are going to have 3 corners and that's it. We've not got 5 corners anymore because we're going to skip these bits. They're not going to be corners anymore, but you just got to try and remember where you're joining it not to make a corner, because I did that by mistake in my daughter's one. I started adding an extra corner up here and I was like, oh no, I had to undo about 6 or 7 rounds. Not good. The only corners we have now are at the bottom. So here, here, and here. Okay, so we have now got the blissful time of just adding some rounds, mindless crocheting. We're going to continue doing what we have been doing, which is turning our work after every round. Sorry. So I'm going to turn my work around and I'm going to put a slip stitch in this gap, because this is no longer a corner here anymore, and we have to try and remember that. Where we join our yarn in the round is not a corner anymore. So it doesn't have 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets, no more. It's just going to have 3 doubles in it and that's it. So chain 3, put 2 more double crochets back into the same gap, and then put 3 double crochets in every single gap all the way around until you get near the bottom and you reach your corners, where you then have to place 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. So yeah, 3 doubles in every single gap. It's nice and easy now. This is the bit where you can go chill, put your feet up on the sofa, watch a bit of telly, watch a film. All you got to remember is just keep putting 3 double crochets in all the gaps. All the way around. We're going to come all the way around here, around your armhole, until you get down to your next corner. If it helps, you could always put stitch markers in the 3 corners, so you know that that is the only time that you're going to do 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Coming all along here. Next corner, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Then come along here. Last corner, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. And then you're going to come all the way up along your armhole. And when you come to your last bit, because this is where I went wrong on my daughter's, I think I got too relaxed while I was watching a film. I started putting 3 doubles, chain 2 in here. And I didn't realise until like 6 rounds later, and I was like, why have I got a random corner? Because you're not going to do that no more. It's all just going to curve round like a circle almost. So you just put 3 doubles in this one and then join it straight to that one. But I'll meet you back here anyway. So basically, keep putting all your 3 doubles in and I'll meet you right at the end of the round. Just as a reminder that you just join it straight together and don't add an extra corner like I did. Silly Nana. Okay, so I've gone all the way around my vest and I'm now at the end of the round. So whereas before we've been used to putting 3 doubles and a chain 2 in here, we're not doing that no more because we want to curve this edge off. We don't want a corner here anymore. So you're going to put 3 doubles in the gap before the end of the round, and then you're just going to join it to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. Like so. So this is what it should be looking like so far. And what you're going to do is keep turning your work after each round, and then just keep adding the granny stitch all the way around, making sure you keep with your corners, these 3 corners here, and all the rest is just straight granny stitch. And this is where you also are going to start to need your model, who you're making it for, yourself or somebody else, because they are going to need to try it on to make sure, well, to see how many more rounds you need to do. You can get a slightly rough idea by folding this over. I just kind of like put my hand like this, but it's not an accurate measurement. That is not the most accurate way of doing it. You're going to need your model so they can keep trying it on to see how much more width you need to add to this side, the sides basically. Where's my other one? Now this tutorial I am actually going to be adding a tie to it, but my daughter's ones, they requested buttons. So I will give you a quick, I'll show you quickly how I did this. Not just yet, but I'm just letting you know that if you want to add buttons to your vest, then when your model tries it on, whether it's you or somebody else, you're going to need these 2 edges right here to meet comfortably in the middle in order to get the buttons done up. Because if it's gappy, you're not going to be able to. These need to meet in the middle. Whereas if you're doing a tie, you can leave a little bit of a gap for the tie. Or if you're doing it for a child, you could always have it meeting in the middle for your tie, because then they've got space to grow. With the tie, it makes it last a bit longer, especially if it's for a small child. But also, buttons are easy access. So it's up to you what you want to do. For this tutorial, I am doing a tie, but when I get to this section, I will quickly go over how I did the buttons as well. Another quick thing I will add, if you are making a larger size and you feel that the bottom is getting too long, then you do have an option of just stopping and cutting off the bottom. You might have to reattach your yarn and start in a corner, but you can start in a corner and just go around here to the next corner and then turn your work and come back again. If you feel like you don't want this bit to get any longer, that is another option. If you are doing that, I might have to redirect you to my granny hexagon cardie, to when you're adding extra length to the cardigan, because it will be the exact same process of that, because you won't be putting 3 doubles in here because it's going to start coming out at a funny diagonal. You have to put like 2 double crochets on the first round and then start with 1 double crochet on the next round. It's a bit hard to explain because I'm not really doing it properly, but it is exactly the same as when you add length to my granny hexagon tutorial. So I can send you there with a timestamp if you feel like you want to do that. I'll put that in the written description, okay? So yeah, basically before I go, just keep adding your rounds until these sides meet. If you're adding buttons, you're going to need them to meet. If you're adding a tie, you can have a bit of a gap. If you want to, have a bit of a gap. But you are going to need your model to keep trying it on. Look how gorgeous this yarn is! What? Look at it! When it's come together like that, oh my word. That looks beautiful. Exciting. Okay, so I'll meet you back here when you have the body complete. and then we will go through the options of how to tie it up or join it together. I'm babbling. Right, happy crocheting and see you soon. Okay, so I've been doing my rounds all around the vest. I just had a little try on to see where I was at, and I'm actually quite happy with where it is. Haha! So, this is why you need your model for this bit. If it's for yourself or someone you're making it for, just so you can try it on. Now this bit kind of folds over a bit like a collar, and then you just want the bottom to about here to pull it tight and see where it meets. Now I did that and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm there. I'm doing a tie with mine. Even if you're adding buttons, you will add a round, or not a round, but like you will add a bit more to here to add your buttons onto. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with where that's at. Looks a bit crazy with my skirt, but very good. So, next section is, I don't really know what you'd call it, fastening section? I'm doing a tie. I will just quickly run over how I did the buttons, but yeah, I'm going to put a tie on mine. Awesome. Okay, this is one that I made, the first one that I made actually. It did originally have a tie on it, but my eldest daughter really wanted to nab it, and then she was like, can I have buttons though please mummy, because she's very sensory, loves to undo things, do them back up again. So I was like, sure. For this tutorial I'm going to use a tie, but I just wanted to quickly show you how I did the buttons. I also put buttons on my 6-year-old's one as well, because it is easier access if a small child has buttons. It was really easy, very easy. I just put it on them, and I used a stitch marker. When they was wearing it and I pulled it together, I used a stitch marker to place where I thought the buttons needed to be. And I literally put a stitch marker the opposite side. Now the ones that have got the buttons on, I went through every single stitch with a double crochet. Just this little section here, because my buttons are quite big. I'm not quite sure what size they are. My buttons are 2.5 centimetres, these ones are. So I just did a row of double crochets, and then I decided where I wanted my buttons to go. And then on the opposite side, where I wanted the buttons to go, I just did a chain one, skip a stitch, and then a double crochet in the next stitch. Then when I got to the next bit where I want my buttons to go, I did chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. And that's how I got these little window spaces. And then there we go. That is how you do the buttons. I'm not doing a tutorial on that, but I just wanted to quickly explain the little process I went to get the buttons. So for me, I'm going to do a tie, and that's going to be the next section. Okay, so to make my tie, I literally just did a chain, but what I did was I got some yarn that I don't really give two monkeys about, and I cut a really, really long piece of it, like really long. Far too long than what I need. Where's my scissors? So I just cut a strand of this yarn that I don't really need, and then literally went through the gaps in between. I started in the chain space right at the bottom, the corner chain space, and then I fed it through the gaps in between the 3 double crochets. So I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to feed it through there. I'm going to bring it to the opposite side and go through the bottom corner chain space. Start bringing it together a bit, and then I'm going to cross it over, cross this strand over and come to the next, it's not a chain space is it, but you know, the next gap. Sorry, my head isn't in the shot at the minute, but I'm just trying to show you what I did. And then I take the other side and I come to the next gap in between the 3 double crochets and pop it through there. So what you're getting is a crisscross effect with the yarn. And I just kept repeating that, going from one side to the other in the next gap between the 3 double crochets. And I just kept doing this until I felt happy with the placement of my I forgot what you call it now. What's it called? I can't remember. Tie. So keep going crisscross until you come all the way up to the height that you're happy with. Crisscrossing them over. It's getting there. So this is why I put buttons on my little girls, because it's just easier access, isn't it? But saying that, the tie makes it last longer, especially if it is for a child, because they grow so quickly, don't they? They grow up so fast. And if you've got a tie on it, it does make it last longer, because you can have these bits joining here and then have the tie going across. I've got mine quite tight, because I quite like it like that. But yeah, I'm getting there. Tell you what, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to come back to where I'm happy with it. I'm almost there. I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit more so it sits a bit more like round my chest area. Okay, so I'm quite happy with my tie placement. I feel like I've come up as far as I want to. So all you're going to do now is just tie it like you're tying your shoelaces. Like so. And then you're just going to trim off the excess. Look, I've did loads of that. Never mind. Do you know what? It actually doesn't look too bad. Actually don't look too bad for a white tie, but I am going to do a chain. So, if you wanted to, you could use fabric. You could literally use a ribbon to do this, and then you don't even have to do the chain. You could do, if you've got loads of fabric and stuff hanging around, or ribbons, you could go out and buy some ribbon and have a ribbon bow. Then you just skipped a whole step. Might do that in the future. So, now we've got this, I now know how long I need to make my chain. So, after weaving it all in, I'm now going to take it out again. Which is actually quicker, taking it out. That's what I love about freestyling things. You can just be creative and be like, right, if I use this, then I know exactly how long I want my chain to be. And there it is. So I now need to create a chain that is the same length as this piece of yarn. Can't fit it in the shop, but so that's the next section, unless you're using a ribbon. Then you can skip this bit altogether. Okay, so because I'm happy with the fit of my vest, I am now going to fasten off because I've been using a yarn cake. I'm now on my second one at the moment, halfway through my second yarn cake. Okay, so I'm going to put my vest to one side and we're now going to create the chain. So if you've got a space somewhere where you can lay out your mock-up chain, lay it out nice and flat, and then you need to know, well, you then know that you need to make your chain the same length as this piece of yarn that you've just cut up. So I'm just going to quickly lay mine out on the floor beside me. And then literally all I'm going to do is create a chain the exact same length as that piece of yarn. But like I said in the video a minute ago, if you've got ribbon, you can use that. If you don't have ribbon, then you can just do this chain. You don't need to count how many chains you're making. It doesn't matter at all, just as long as it's the same length as the yarn you've just cut up. And yeah, it's absolutely fine. So keep creating your chain, and then when I've done mine, I'll come back and attach it, and then we'll make some little tassels for it. Right, I have now made a chain which is the exact same length. Hang on, I'm going to put it away, look. Exact same length as the yarn that I cut for my tassel, or my tie tassel. And I'm keeping this for next time so I don't have to cut another piece, which is quite handy. So I'm going to fasten off. Where's my little scissors? Just put a little knot in that to secure it. You can leave these ends. I'm just going to trim that end just a little bit there. It's a bit long. You can leave your ends in, both ends literally, because these will become a part of the tassel that we're going to make, so you don't have to weave any of them in. I always find it really hard to weave in ends on a chain. There's just no nice way of doing it, is there? So I always put tassels on mine because I think it gives it a nice little finish. So now you're going to need your vest top. Where have I put it? It was here. Now, it doesn't matter what way is right and what way is wrong. So what size inside and which way is outside, you choose. I just decided to have where my first end is. I decided to keep that as the wrong side, but it really doesn't matter because we've been turning our work after every round anyway and been using the yarn cake. I think I might need to just zoom out a little bit. Excuse the state of my desk, it's a little bit messy. So we're just going to lay the vest out and then bring the fronts together, or if you find it easier, put it on and do it just put it on, and then you can weave your tassel through that way. I keep calling it a tassel, a tie, but I'm going to do it here so I can show you what I'm doing a bit better than when I was standing up, because that was a little bit awkward, wasn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to show you how I weave this through. To be fair, you could put your tassels on, then weave it through, or just like take this off and put it on, then weave it through. Sometimes I actually keep it like loose and just put it over my head. So you're going to go through the bottom corner on one side and the bottom corner on the opposite side. And try and make it so you've got an even amount both sides. Can't really show that on the screen very well, but just make sure that both your lengths are like the same. And then you're going to go opposites in each of the gaps. I'm going to come through the back and go to the front. If you prefer to go the other way, that's fine. There's no right or wrong way. You can even tie it up however you want. This is just how I'm doing it, okay? Doesn't mean it has to be done this way. You can do it whatever way you wish. I'm just doing a crisscross. I'm coming from the back to the front, working my way up through every gap between the 3 double crochets. And going on opposite sides, just to give it a crisscross effect. And it'll end up looking like that. I'm not going to go up any further at the minute. I'm just going to start attaching tassels. That is going to be the next section, is attaching our little tassels on the end. Okay, for this section you're going to need your tape measure. We're going to go to about 18 centimetres. Ideally, if you've got some, a sharp pair of scissors for when you trim the tassels to make them all the same length. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use 3 strands of yarn for each tassel. So you're going to need to cut 6 strands in total at 18 centimetres. Where's my little scissors? Doesn't have to be completely accurate because we're going to be trimming them anyway, as long as they're like roughly the same. Got one more to do. Got a little bit of fluff on there. So I've just sectioned mine. I've got 3 and 3. Get rid of my tape measure. Okay, so let's do the first tassel. You're just going to take the end of your tassel, not your tassel, your tie. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying that. Take the end of your tie and we're going to put our hook through the very first chain. Like so. Now we're going to put this down. We don't need it just yet. Right, now you're going to grab the first lot of 3 strands in the middle. We're just going to pinch it with our forefinger and our thumb, pick it up in the middle. Like so. It's a bit awkward for me to show you this really, because you're kind of coming down. But what I do now is I take my other hand and I just lay it so it's like, looks like someone's hair maybe. Oh, very pretty. And I'm just going to grab it like that. And that's going to leave me with a loop in the middle. So we need to put this loop here of these 3 strands over our hook, like so. And now we need to pull all these 3 strands through this chain. Can't get none of my words out right. So make sure you get all of the strands through the chain. That's gone nice and easy for me today. Pull it out the other side, but not all the way, because we're going to need the loop again that we've just had our fingers through. So we're going to put our forefinger and our thumb inside that loop again, and we're going to pull these strands through the loop and also your tail from the chain. So all of them need to come through. So I'm just going to pull it through and pinch it and just gently pull it through like so. And then you just got to tighten it up. But you're best not to pull on that because that won't do anything if you pull on your little loose end from the tail. So I'm just going to pop that over there and I'm going to pull these strands that we've just cut. And that's it. Now, if you want to, you can go through each one and just give it a little tug, but don't pull it too hard because you might pull the whole strand out. But that just goes through and tightens each and every one so that it's secure. And that's it. I'll do it again because obviously we've got one more to do. So take your second end of your tie. I'm a little bit blurry because I'm zoomed in quite a bit. Take your hook and go through the very first chain. And then just put that down because we don't need that at the moment. Then you're going to need your last 3 strands that you cut. Pick it up from the middle and pinch it. Use your other hand to form somebody's hair. Grab it again, leaving a loop at the top, which we can then put our hook through. And then we're going to pull these 3 strands through the first chain. Just being careful that we've got them all coming through. It's not too bad because we've only got 3 strands. It's when you're using like 6 or 7, it starts to get a bit messy. So pull that through so you've got that loop here. And then use your forefinger and your thumb to grab those 3 ends. Well, I say it's 6 now, isn't it? grab those ends along with the tail end of the chain. So pinch them all and pull them all through like so. And then to tighten, you just need to move that end from the chain out of the way and then grab the 6 strands of yarn that you have now and just pull them all evenly at the same time. Bonk. Like so. And then I'm just going to go through each strand again gently, just give it a little gentle tug. Just to tighten it up even more. And then now we can trim the tassels. It doesn't matter what length you trim them at. You cut them as long or as short as you want them to be. I'm just going to put them together at the same time and get my big old scissors and just chomp straight through them. I'm just going to go here. Done! Aha! So next section is either a collar or a hood. Okay, for this next section you're going to need 2 stitch markers and you're going to need to put your vest on, either yourself or whoever you're making it for. And that way we're going to know where you want your hood to start, or if you don't want a full hood, you can just keep working up like you're doing a hood and stop for, when you're happy with the shape of the collar, or you can just leave it how it is, but I just think it gives it a nice look if it's got a collar on it. Quite like a frilly collar, so I might show you how to do that. So anyway, babbling. Now, where do you put the hood? So you've got to think, it's probably easier to look in the mirror to do this. Probably a bit easier. For me, I'm thinking if you have it too high and you decide you want it to come back here, you've got to think once the hood is on and in place, we're not adding any more stitches around it. So if you put it up too high, like here for example, and draw an imaginary line, it's going to come up just near your ears and the hood is going to stop here, which is no good. You don't want it to stop here. If you was adding extra rounds after, like if you was wearing a cardi and you wanted to add extra rounds, that would be a perfect place, but we're not doing that. So we need the hood to be in the right position so that it actually fits our head okay. So just think about drawing an imaginary line. We only really need 1 stitch marker at the moment to mark this point, because we're just going to mark it on one side and then we're going to take the vest off, count stitches from the bottom and then put the stitch marker in the opposite side. So I'm like looking straight ahead, kind of drawing an imaginary line. Where do I want it to go? About just a little bit off my forehead. So I'm kind of feeling about here for me, which is just above my chest. Just at the start of my chest. I'm going to pop my stitch marker in there. Now, is that too... Now I'm looking down, I'm wondering if I've got it a little bit too low. So I might pop it in the next one up. You just kind of got to use your imagination on this part. So yeah, I'm thinking that's about right for me. I'm quite happy with that placement. So that's it. I've popped my stitch marker in one of the gaps between the 3 double crochets. So I'm now going to take my vest off. Oh, it looks real cool, doesn't it? Look at those colours. I'm now going to take my vest off and count the gaps from here and put my stitch marker in the exact opposite place on the other side. Where are we going? Ah! Lordy Lord. Okay, I'm just about in the shot. As you can see, I've got my bottom here and my stitch marker here. So literally all I'm going to do is I'm going to count every gap in between the 3 double crochets. I'm going to count how many gaps there are from the bottom right to where this stitch marker is. So I'm just going to go quiet while I count it. Okay, so I've got 15 gaps. So I now know I need to count the exact same amount on this side so I can put my other stitch marker in there. And we're now ready to get on with some more crocheting. Okay, so this next section is if you want to just add a collar. If you're adding a collar, you don't need your model or to put it on yourself, because with the hood, you are definitely going to need your model or yourself to make sure that you've got the hood as high as it can be. But for the collar, you don't need to do that. So I'm going to put a timestamp in the written description. If you decide you want to make the hood, you can skip past this bit and fast forward to the timestamp for the hood. I don't know that number just yet, obviously, because I've not edited the video yet. But have a look in the written description and the timestamp for the hood will be in there. So for now, this is going to be a collar. Okay, so we're going to do a frilly collar because I did a frilly collar on one of mine. I thought it looked really cute. So we're just going to turn it around because we are going to start in this part here where the single, I don't know what I'm saying now, where the stitch marker is in the gap. That is going to be our starting point, and we're going to work all the way around until we get to the other stitch marker, and then we're going to turn and come back on ourselves, blah 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 blah. So this is for a frilly collar. You only really need to do a few rounds of a frilly collar, or however many you want, it's up to you. So I'm going to attach my yarn with a slip stitch. Just zoom in a bit, or not a slip stitch, a slip knot. Oh, I keep getting my words wrong again. I do apologise, everybody. Okay, so we're going to attach our yarn in the same gap with the stitch marker with a slip stitch. It's too many S's, I think. I'm saying stitch marker, slip stitch, slip knot. I nearly said single crochet when that isn't even in here. So we're going to join it in with a slip stitch. We're going to chain 3, which is going to class as the first double, and we're going to put one more double crochet in the gap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1 and then put 3 double crochets back into the gap. So that's technically, in this space, we should have 2 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Then we're going to come to the next gap, skip your 3 doubles, come to your next gap, and in this one you're going to put 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And that is what we're going to do until we reach that last stitch marker. So next one, next gap, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the same gap, kind of like you do in your corners, but we're just putting 1 chain, not 2. So come to your next gap, and it's going to again 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in the same gap. And what that's doing is starting to create a little bit of a ripple effect. You're kind of making a shell stitch really, aren't you, with a gap in the middle. So come to your next gap and do exactly the same thing. 3 double crochets, chain 1. Oh, my chain 1 just went all funny and now I can't get my hook out. 3 double crochets back in the same gap. And then keep repeating that in every single gap, and I want you to stop right before you get to the gap with a stitch marker, and I'll meet you back here. So that's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets in every single gap. So I'm right at the end of my first round, and I literally have the one gap left with my stitch marker in. So we're going to mimic exactly what we did right at the beginning. So I'm going to put, well, we're going to do it backwards, aren't we? So I'm going to do 3 double crochets in this last gap, chain 1, and then put just 2 double crochets in here. And there we are. Right, now we're ready for the next round. So we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. So we're now coming back along these shells that we've just created. So we've got 2 double crochets here and we've got a gap. So what we're going to do, that's the chain space gap in there, we're going to skip the next stitch and we're going to go straight into this gap with 3 double crochets. And that's it, just 3 double crochets. Then we're going to skip the next 3 doubles and then we've got a gap. So we're going to go in the gap with just 3 double crochets. Then we're going to skip the next 3 double crochets, and in there you've then got your little chain space that you made. So you're going to put 3 double crochets in the chain space. And then skip the next 3 and put 3 doubles in the next gap. I'll show you that again. Skip the next 3 doubles and find that chain space that you made and put 3 double crochets in there. Oh, getting all wavy. Skip the next 3 doubles and then put 3 doubles in the next gap. So basically it's exactly the same as doing your normal granny stitch, but you've got to remember you're going to go in the chain space. So you're going to go 3 doubles in a chain space, 3 doubles in a gap, 3 doubles in the chain space, 3 doubles in the gap. So keep doing that in all the stitches and I'll meet you back here when you get near the end. Okay, I'm right at the end and I literally have this little section here where I've got my 3 double crochets, the chain space and then 2 double crochets. So we're going to mimic what we did at the beginning of the round but backwards. So I'm going to skip the last 3 double crochets and come to the chain space and put 3 double crochets in there. Which then leaves me with 2 stitches. Technically, one is a double crochet and the other one is the chain 3 from the beginning of the previous round. So we're just going to put 1 double crochet in the top of the chain 3. So we're going to skip the first stitch and then put 1 double crochet in the top of the chain 3 from the previous round. And that's the next round. You can stop there if you want, if you tried it on and thought, oh yeah, that'll do. Or you can do another round. I will show you how to do one more round. Basically, at the ends of each round, we're just going to be repeating. So our next round is going to start with 2 double crochets. And then the next round after that, we'll start with just 1 double crochet. We're going to keep repeating 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. And that will just help keep this edge nice and straight. So if you want to do another round, it's going to be 2 double crochets because we've got 2 here and then we've got 1 here. So the next one's going to have 2. So we're going to chain 3, which classes as your first double, and then you're going to turn your work around. And then you're going to put 1 more double crochet in the base of the chain 3. And now we're just going to skip 3 doubles and put 3 doubles in every single gap. So skip the next 3 double crochets and put 3 double crochets in the next gap. And then skip the next 3 doubles in the next gap. We've now gone back to our regular granny stitch pattern where we're just putting 3 doubles in every single gap. So I'll meet you back here when we get to the other end. Okay, so I'm right at the end of the round. I've got to skip 3 more doubles and put 3 doubles in this gap. Oh, if I can get to it. Oh, sorry, I've just got that last one twisted. And then you're left with 3 doubles, a little bit of a gap, and the chain 3 from the beginning of the previous round. So you're going to skip your 3 doubles and put 2 double crochets in the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round. Like so. Now I'm going to stop here because I quite like how it is. If you want to add more to your collar, then you're just going to keep repeating the last 2 rounds that we've just done. So your next round is going to have 1 double crochet or chain 3 at the end of each round. Or say round, row, because we're on rows now, aren't we? Sorry, I keep saying round. And then the next one will have 2 double crochets. So that's just, you start each round, I'm saying it again. You start each row with either 1 double crochet or 2 double crochets. So let me just say I was about to add another round. A row. Oh my gosh, I've done it again. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually going to add another row, but I'm just going to show you that the next row will just have the 1 double crochet at the beginning, but it is actually a chain 3 because that's what we're using. So you would chain 3, turn your work, and then you've got 2 double crochets here and then a gap. You're just going to skip over those 2 doubles and you're going to go straight into the next gap with 3 double crochets. And by alternating with the 2, where are we? 2, 1, 2, 1 at the edge, it's going to keep it nice and straight. So you get all the way around, putting 3 doubles in every single gap. Where are we? Blah de blah de blah 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 blah. And then when you get to the end, you're going to put 3 doubles in here, and then you've got 2 stitches left, one being a double crochet or one being a chain 3 from the beginning of the previous round. So you put 3 doubles in here, skip the next stitch and put 1 double crochet in the top of the chain 3 from the previous round. And then if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't remember what you do next for where you've got 2 doubles, just rewind it back a little bit and then you can see what we've just done. So yeah, I'm going to stop here. And then next section is coming up is the hood section. Let me just lay this out a bit and zoom out. As you can see, it's starting to get a bit ruffly. The collar has got a ruffle to it. So I've got ends all over the place right now. Well, no, I haven't actually. That's a bit of a porky pie. I've used a yarn cake, so I haven't really got ends everywhere, have I? Not really. Don't know if I can quite, I can't really fit it in very well. So it just looks crazy right now, doesn't it? Because I can't really fit it in properly. Yeah, that looks crazy. Looks amazing though. The colours look amazing. So yes, that's how you add a little frilly collar. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the little frilly collar. It's quite cute, don't you think? If you don't want to commit to the hood, because the hood is quite a bit of crocheting, not going to lie, it is a bit of crocheting. Plus you need your model for the hood. So maybe they've gone home and you're like, do you know what, love, you've gone home, so you're going to have a collar. It's alright, isn't it? So, if you want to add fringe, you've done the collar, you want to add fringe, you're going to have to skip past the hood section because that's coming up next. The timestamps will be in the written description. Again, I'll put them in there. For the next section, which is adding fringe. But that is totally optional. You might not want to add any fringe. If you don't want to add any fringe, guess what? You're done. Woohoo! If you do want to add some fringe, then head to that section. Yeah, it's going to be time stamped. Don't know what it is just yet, again, because I've not edited the video. But yeah, there we go. It's okay, isn't it? So next section is hood. Okay, so this is the hood section. You should hopefully have your stitch markers where you want your hood to start. So let's crack on. get my yarn. Attach it to your hook with a slip knot. And then with your vest right side facing you, right side out, we are going to start in the left stitch marker. So I'm just going to twist my work around. Okay, so we're just going to be doing the granny stitch, but we're not doing it in the round. So it's going to start a little bit differently. Like each round is going to be, what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. So it's really hot here today. I'm feeling a bit flustered. So basically we're going to be repeating 2 rows. The first row is going to start with 2 double crochets at the end, each end, and then the next row is going to have 1 double crochet at each end, and we're just going to keep repeating those rows until the hood reaches the height that we need to easily fit over the head. This is why you're going to need your model, or if you're wearing it yourself, you have to keep trying it on to check the height of the hood. So let's begin. Going in the first gap with the stitch marker, we're going to attach the yarn with a slip stitch. Oh, hang on, I've got a bit twisted. Oh, my yarn's going a bit crazy. I've just had to frog all the collar that I did, and now it's doesn't want to play the game now. It's playing me up instead. Right, let's chain 3, and then we're going to put 1 more double crochet in this gap. So technically speaking, well, let's chain 3. You got 2 doubles in the first gap. Now in every other gap, until you reach your opposite stitch marker, you're going to do your regular granny stitch. So it's going to be skip 3 double crochets, put 3 double crochets in every gap. Skip 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in the next gap, just like we've been doing already. So keep doing that all the way around, and then stop just before you reach your stitch marker. And I will meet you back here when I get to that point, which is going to be like 1 second for you, but probably a few minutes for me. Okay, so I've stopped right before the final gap with my stitch marker in it. So what we're going to do in the final gap is just put 2 double crochets. And that is row 1. Row 1 will always start and end with 2 double crochets. Row 2 will always start and end with 1 double crochet. So what we're going to do is chain 3. That classes as your first double crochet. Turn your work. So we're going back on ourselves. Okay, so we've got the base of the chain 3, and then we've got another stitch. We're going to skip over all of that and come straight in this next gap and put 3 double crochets. And then we're back to 3 doubles in every single gap, all the way around until you reach the end of the row. So yeah, keep going, 3 doubles in every gap, and I'm going to meet you when we get to the end of the row. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end of row 2, and we have got 3 double crochets, a gap, and 2 double crochets. So we're going to put our last 3 doubles in this last gap. Then that leaves you with a double crochet and the chain 3 from the beginning of the previous round. So we had 1 double crochet at the beginning of the round, which was technically the chain 3, but it classes as a double crochet. That means we have to end it the same. So we're going to skip this next stitch, and then we're going to put we're going to put a double crochet in the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. And that is row 2. And now basically all we're going to do is keep repeating row 1 and row 2 until we are happy with the length of the hood. So I'm going to do a couple more rows with you and then send you on your merry way to do lots and lots of crocheting. So row 3 is technically row 1 repeated. So we're going to chain 3, turn our work. What we're going to do is put another double crochet in the base of the chain 3. So technically it classes as 2 double crochets at the beginning of this row. Now what you've got is 3 double crochets, so you're going to skip those and go straight in the next gap with 3 double crochets. And then you're going to continue to put 3 double crochets in every single gap until you get to the end of the row. So I will meet you here again when I get to the end of the row. Right, so I'm at the end of this row, which is row 3. I've got 3 doubles, a gap, and then 3 doubles, and then the chain 3 from the beginning of the previous row. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? So we're going to skip the next 3 doubles, and I'm going to go in this gap and put my final 3 double crochets. And then I'm going to skip the next 3 double crochets, and then I need to put 2 double crochets in the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the previous row. So put 2 doubles in there. Like so. So alternating these rows 1 and 2 means that we're going to end up with a nice straight edge when we're doing our granny stripe, if you want to call it, because it is kind of like a granny stripe, isn't it? So the next row is going to be row 2 repeated. I'll do this one with you, and then after that, if you need to double check again, you can not fast forward, you can rewind back to the hood timestamp. Hopefully I don't waffle on too much. I might waffle on a little bit. You'd be like, oh, for goodness sake, I've already seen this bit, stop talking. Stop talking right now. So I'm going to do one more row. So the next row is going to be row 2 repeated, where we only have 1 double crochet at the end of each row. So it's going to be chain 3, which is your first double, turn your work, and then what you should have is your 2 double crochets that you've just done and a gap. And we're going to go straight in that gap with 3 double crochets. And then, as same as before, 3 double crochets in every single gap until you get to the end of the row. And I'll meet you back here one more time and show you how to end the row. Okay, so I've made it to the end of the round. I have got 3 double crochets left, a gap and 2 double crochets. So we're going to put our final 3 double crochets in this gap. Which leaves us with 2 stitches, one being a double crochet and the last one being the chain 3 from the previous row. So we're going to skip over the first stitch, which is a double crochet, and we're going to put just 1 double crochet in the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. Just give it I always find it easier just to twist my chain 3 and put it in through the top. And there we go. So that is literally all you're going to keep doing. It's repeating rows 1 and 2 over and over again until your hood reaches the top of your head or whoever you're making it for. Now you might think, what's she on about? It's a bit hard to show you at the minute because it's still really little. But basically, when the hood gets taller, we are going to join it together and just seam it down the top. It's going to have a seam going down the top. But I will make sure that my next frame on this video will be me with the right height of my hood so I can show you what it looks like, because it's really hard to picture it right now. Right now it looks like a collar. I mean, if you wanted to, if you think, oh, do you know what, I can't be bothered to make a hood, you could literally just leave the collar like this rather than having a frilly one. But if you want to add a hood, we are going to keep going and you're going to keep trying this on until this hood comfortably meets the top of your head. So keep adding your rows, alternating between row 1 and row 2, and I'll meet you back here when your hood is at the right size. Okay, so I've been going backwards and forwards, adding lots of rows to my hood, and I think I'm happy with the length of it right now. So you're probably thinking, how do you know that you're happy with it? So basically, what we're going to do is we've been creating a rectangle. We've been attaching a rectangle onto the vest, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold that rectangle in half and join the two top corners together. And what we will be doing is seaming along the top edge only. So if you grab some stitch markers and just pop them through the top section of the hood, anywhere, I'm just spreading them out because I just want to try it on and see how it fits. I've just popped 3 in there. You can put them in all the gaps if you wanted to get like a better idea of how it's going to fit. I've just popped 3 in there. So you can kind of see it forming now. The hood is now forming. So try it on and see how comfortable it is for you. Okay, don't laugh at me because it does look a little crazy of what I'm wearing right now. But I am happy with my hood. It feels relaxed. If it feels really tight and you feel a bit like this, then you're going to need to add a few more rows to it. But no, I'm really happy. I'm happy with the placement as well because it's got it's like baggy at the back. I'm really happy with it. Don't know if you can see that okay. I can do it a twizzle without, probably not, getting twisted. Feel like I'm doing a little dance. So yeah, once you are happy with the length, then we can move on to seaming, which is next. Okay, so if you've just tried your hood on and you're happy with it, you should still have it all attached like I have with your stitch markers. So we are literally just seaming the very top edge. We're not going down the side because that's where your face is going to be poking out of. We're just going down this very top edge. Now how you seam is completely up to you. I like to do a single crochet seam and I like it to be on the outside, so it's a bit of a statement seam. Because I'm not adding anything around the edges, I like the way it sits better with my single crochet seam on the outside, not on the inside. But if you want to do it a different way, seam it however you wish. But I'm going to show you how I do it with a single crochet seam. So let me take my first stitch marker out because it's in the way. So I'm still using my same yarn, I'm still attached, so I just need to kind of get it round the other side. So I've just turned it round. So what I'm going to do is attach my yarn and I'm just going to poke it through. For me it's the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the row. I'm just going to pop it through there. And I'm going to do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work around. So I'm now working the right way for me because I'm right-handed. So now we're just going to put a single crochet back through that top of the chain 3 and the first stitch on the opposite side. And then you're just going to put a single crochet through every single stitch, making sure you go through the front and the back to close this gap up. So make sure you go through both stitches with a single crochet. And that's it. That's how easy it is. Through the front stitch, through the back stitch, single crochet. Through the front stitch, through the back stitch, single crochet. Like I say, if you've got a different way you prefer to seam, then go ahead and do it. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you the way I like to do it. It doesn't matter how you seam it, as long as you close this gap up, and then you've got yourself a hood. So I'll meet you back here when we get near the end. Okay, so I'm right at the end and I've got one more single crochet to place, which is kind of like in the corner where it's all folded. And there we go. Just going to fasten that off. Don't know where my scissors are. Weave in that end, and then we're on the final section, which is fringe tassels, if you want to add them. Nearly done. Okay, so if you want to add fringe on the bottom of your vest, it's exactly the same as when you did the tassels, but we're doing it on a much bigger scale. So what I do is I get my sharp scissors, I get something to wrap my yarn around because it's much quicker than measuring out individual strands and cutting them. So I've got a book. You could use a DVD, I say DVD case. I'm showing my age. Do they even exist? Maybe like a computer game case, something like that. A block of wood, anything. But yeah, I've just got a book. So if you make it longer, you can always trim it. So yeah, all we're going to do, I don't know how much we need to wrap. We're just going to have to guess and eyeball it. We're going to be putting fringe all along the bottom in every single gap between the 3 double crochets. So I'm just going to hold my yarn and I'm literally just going to keep wrapping it all the way around. I'm doing it a bit slow because I'm trying to get it all on the screen. But usually when I'm doing this without recording myself, I'm like, wrap it around there. So yeah, just keep wrapping. Okay, I'm just going to stop. I definitely need more than this, but I'm going to stop anyway, just to show you what we're going to do. Otherwise I could be here all day. So I'm going to just trim that bit off, like so. And I'm just going to like grab this top bit here, where my strand is where I first started. I'm going to gently get my sharp scissors underneath and just snip it. Put the book to one side for a moment. And now we've got some strands that we can start playing about with and attaching to the vest. Okay, so I've got the bottom of my vest here. I'm on a bit of a wonk, but I want to be able to fit it all in the screen. Actually, maybe I could turn it around a bit. Hang on, let's have a look. So yeah, that probably looks better, doesn't it? So you can use as many strands as you want. I'm going to use 3 strands for each bit, and I'm just going to start from the bottom corner and then go in every single gap and work my way all the way around until I get to this corner. Mine's going to be quite pinky by the looks of it. So I've got 3 strands. We're going to do exactly what we did for the tassels. So let's lay it out and pick it up right in the middle and then get a little loop at the top. This time we're going to take our hook and put it through the first gap, which for me is the corner at the bottom, and then loop it over our hook, pull all of the tassels through, and then get your forefinger and your thumb in that loop and just pull it through. Done. I'll show you one more time in the next bit. Take 3 strands of yarn, or if you want more, take more. Or, like I said before, you can use bits of fabric if you prefer. You can use whatever you want. Get experimental. So I'm going to pick it up from the centre, loop it, get my hook, put it in the next gap between the 3 doubles, pull all of those through, get my forefinger and my thumb in that loop and just bring it through and tighten it. So keep going all the way around and I'll meet you back here when you've put it all in. Okay, so I have added all my fringe to the bottom of my vest. What I'm going to do now, I'm not going to do it on the camera, but if you've got a pair of hair straighteners, you can run your hair straighteners on a low setting. Just go bop down each tassel and that'll make it poker straight. If you haven't got hair straighteners, then I wouldn't worry, because I tend to find once it's been washed, it does tend to straighten out anyway. I'm also going to trim my edges a little bit. If you've got a tailor's dummy, I definitely suggest popping it on there, and that will help if you feel like you want to just neaten up your edges. Or you could put it over the top of the back of a chair and let it dangle down and cut it that way. But yeah, there we are, another tutorial done and dusted. So thank you so much again for watching this tutorial. I will be back again soon, hopefully, with another one. Bye, thanks for watching. Okay, here it is. I have straightened my tassels and gave them just a little bit of a trim, nothing too crazy. Just give it a little twirl. I'm so happy with how it came out. This is the perfect thing to make with a yarn cake. Look at it. What? Just look at it. I don't know if you can see the hood, if I can fit it in, but it's just come out so lovely. And I don't really see any bluntness of colour changes either. So yeah, this yarn is from Good Vibes yarn. And I think it's under Sunny Rainbow Baby Cake. I need to get some more, 100%.